Mother Nature definitely humbled me.
Mother Nature always wins, and I really, really do not want to make videos like this, but I think it's a good learning experience for me, and also I would love to share kind of my mistakes with you all to hopefully help you avoid situations like this, and if you find yourself in a situation like this, how you could possibly best protect yourself in these really crappy situations. So anyway, it starts off with a beautiful day in Southern California. A surf was 1 to 2 feet, and the visibility report was stated to be around 5 to 10 feet. And when I got in the water, I would say that holds true. It held true for, it was about 7 feet, give or take, really hazy, but about 7 feet. The surf wasn't too high, but the surge, the kind of flow and the current was pretty mild or moderate, I would say. You could definitely feel it. I wouldn't take a new diver out in these conditions, but I felt pretty comfortable. So here I have the Mana spear gun that I've been using. It's a single roller, beautiful, beautiful Sorotech barrel. And I'm not saying that, I'm not sponsored. I just really do love this build. And loading it up here and getting ready to dive. The goal today was to go for some sheephead and just kind of get my bearings as I'm preparing for a trip down to Baja. And I did want to share some uni with Carlo, the head baker and master of bread at 6100 Bread. I love their blue corn sourdough. I know that's really random, but seriously, it's really good. If you're in the SoCal area, you should check it out. I also am bringing out a dive light. This is the Orca 7 that I've been trying out and looking for some sheephead in those holes and possible calico. So the goal is grab uni, spear some fish, and just get more familiar with the spear gun as we prep for Mexico. So overall conditions, like I said, about 7 feet, but once you get further down, it opens up a little bit. But you can see here, I'm scanning the floor and I'm looking for a larger uni. And you see one there, I grabbed it. It looked decent size. And as I'm looking around, you can see some lobster in those crevices. And I look at the size and I'm just trying to keep the big ones. So I do see a bigger one there. And it's hard to tell in the water, but I tried to give a good weight. I found that if they weigh a little bit more, they tend to yield a little bit more uni per sea urchin. So that's what I try to do in the water. I know it's not an easy thing, but if I have choices, that's what I try to do to determine which one might have more. And on the way up, I do see a nice size sea urchin, so I stop, pull it off the rock, and this one's coming with me. I go back to my float, and I do have my bag here. I put my sea urchin that I've picked off the wall right into that bag. I secure it closed, and then I'm off. But essentially, try to remember where that float is and how it's sitting. It's pretty calm. And this is my second drop and the last drop of this session, and you'll find out soon enough why. So as I'm going down, I do spot a nice wall of sea urchin here, and there's a nice cluster of them, and I do see some larger ones. So I pick out the largest ones I can find, and you want to try to pull these off quickly. When I say quickly, I mean the first swipe. If not like that, they'll kind of hold on to the rock a little bit harder, and it makes it a little bit harder to pull off than if you would pull it off in one go. So try to keep that in mind. But as I'm going up, and this next clip here, as I go look for the bag to put these sea urchin into, just notice I noticed my float got sucked into kind of the cavity of this reef, and as I'm trying to grab the bag, put the sea urchin in, and pull the float away from this reef, it gets sucked into that cavity, and then this rogue wave just hammers me. And it hammers me pretty hard. I'm in somewhat of a fetal position, protecting my head, my neck. And what I'm trying to do is get away from this reef as quickly as possible. At this point, I notice my mask and my snorkel have been ripped off my face. And so what I'm doing here is paddling away from the danger. And what I'm doing is collect myself and then try to figure out what I want to do. I do have some gear out there. So I have my bag, obviously. I have the float. I have a 25-foot float line attached to an anchor. And my mask and snorkel are gone, and I do not plan to get that back, especially in these conditions. It's just not worth it. But I'm just trying to see, can I salvage that float by any means? And when I say salvage, obviously you might think you can see it, so why not you just grab it? I'm trying to reduce the danger I'm putting myself in. But is it even reasonable, you can see it's crashing there, to even grab the float? So what I do is I grab the float, I unclip it because I have a carabiner attached to that float line, and then I just say I lose the anchor, I use the float line, I lose the mask and snorkel, but I can dive another day. And I'm just realizing now that the spear gun took a beating when I was protecting my side with that spear gun.
All right, everyone, quick update. Did a solo dive today. Surf was 1 to 2, pretty manageable. I thought Viz has been terrible, about maybe 5 to 7 feet, not good. Bad part is where I went diving, kind of in the open. It's like a hidden reef. And I noticed where the swell was coming in. I thought it was rough, but right where the reef kind of protrudes out of the water. So what I thought I did was put enough space where I anchor my float between that and the actual reef. And it was a little too close for comfort. As you can see, I have no mask on, no snorkel, and what I had to do was ditch the anchor that I had on this float, because it was caught up in that reef when a massive set came through. Actually pulled me along pretty good. What I did is protect my head, protect the back of my head and my neck, and use my elbows to kind of protect the front of my face, and kind of use my spear gun to protect the sides. But swell came in pretty hard. The mask was on my face, snorkel was in my mouth, and ripped it right off. Kind of thank goodness I kind of dodged the reef there, but it just was not a good outcome. Not safe, wasn't ideal. I still have my spear gun. The rock, actually, when I kind of scraped it, it ripped off the rubber. And now, thank goodness I have my float. I mean, I would have swam back, probably backwards. But now I'm just swimming back, swim with shame. I'm sure if the lifeguards were watching, probably had a mini heart attack. Sorry, lifeguards. Yeah, I thought I parked the float further enough away from the dive spot, but kind of got pulled in, and yeah, not good. So I'm gonna be pulling in to shore, done for the day, lesson learned. And yeah, I typically don't like to solo dive, but I've been to the spot many times. I've done this many times. I know the classic story goes when people say that, but I thought I was being pretty conservative with where I was putting things. But Mother Nature definitely humbled me. But yeah, crappy day anyway. I don't know if I mentioned, but I did have to ditch my anchor, my float line. It's a 25-foot float line that I usually have to this buoy, because the anchor was way too close to the reef. No mask, no snorkel. Surf was coming in. I made a judgment call. Yeah, it sucks. Costly mistake, but it's not worth your life. Here I am, here to swim another day. Honestly, not a terrible day to dive. I would still dive it if I just saw from shore. Just not the best placement of my float, and that kind of put me in a compromised state or position. So almost to shore, and I'm going to grab my spear gun, grab my float. go home. Thank you, Mana, for letting me borrow this. I don't see any major scuffs, but maybe this right there. Maybe that's the biggest scuff. But yeah, rubber's snapped right off. I think the rubber hit the rock pretty hard. It cut straight off. So I will be getting new rubbers for this.
And that's a wrap with the dive. Here's some dive stats, but the main takeaways are, if you're going to dive by yourself, be sure to tell someone where you're going to be and how long you plan on staying out there. And also be conservative on how you dive, placing yourself out of harm's way as best as possible, and also not pushing yourself too hard when you are diving and holding your breath. The last thing I want to say is, if you find yourself in a position where you might get dropped on some rocks or a reef, protect your head, protect your neck, be in a fetal position, and also use that spear gun to protect your side. And most importantly, I think, is be aware of that muzzle. There's still a pointy tip at the end, and you don't want that to pierce you because you're in a roll. So if you're gonna get rid of it, I would say ditch the spear pointed end away from you. And if you're gonna hold it, keep it away from you as best as possible, and use that spear gun, even if it has to break, to protect you if you have to in those situations. So hopefully you never have to use those tips, but those are my takeaways. If you have any thoughts or questions, please leave them in the comment below. Thank you for the support on this channel and this journey. It's very embarrassing to me to post something like this for someone that's been diving for so long, but I hope you found something useful in this video, and I hope to report back on some more fun adventures on the next one. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. To make myself feel better, I did end up going to 6100 Bakery and Carlo. Thank you for the bread, and I hope to share some uni with you in the future.